Hey guys, if anybody's in here, okay, it says there's one person in here. Hey, how are ya? Hey Liz, how's it going? I I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I dream about this case. That's how much hey Debbie, this is how much I think about it. I literally will dream about things that I've heard, news clips, facts, um, rumors, lies, and hey Tara, it just gets me it really gets me confused and stressed out because hey Scottish, how are you? um because nothing makes sense. So I want to start with the nomadic static video. I'm sure everybody has seen that. Gabby and Brian on a road trip, and they seem to look happy, right? For the most part, they're just traveling and they're seeing all these awesome exciting things, and they look like a happy couple. And hey, Google users here, thanks for stopping in. One thing I've noticed is that no matter hey Kim, how happy Gabby looks, I've noticed that her eyes are puffy in a lot of different um, takes in that video. Sometimes they're red and puffy. It could just be that's the way her eyes are shaped, but sometimes they're puffier than others. So I only can imagine that she's putting on a front or an act for the most part, because this is my speculation, I just don't think that she is 100% happy the way she's portraying herself to be. Um, People live with each other and they get on each other's nerves in a house, in a big house, where they can separate themselves, go in different rooms, go outside, whatever. Picture yourself in a van with limited space, sleeping in a tent, limited space. You really don't have much room to separate yourself if there's a little bit of an argument or a tiff. I think she was scared too. Um, so I think that could be trying on anybody's relationship as far as being stuck this close to each other the entire time. So I do believe that they did argue an awful lot. It does make it more complicated. You're absolutely right, Liz. So when I saw the footage of the body cam from the cops, it was reported that she was taking too long blogging, and Brian was throwing a hissy fit. He wanted her to hurry up and go. Then they got into an argument. Somebody reported that they saw her slap him. Someone reported they saw him slap her. He tried to leave her. Makes no sense. 100% of the story doesn't make sense. But from the calls that police received, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. The cops came, they were speeding. I think they were going like 45 or 50 in a 50-mile-an-hour area. They were swerving. They were they were arguing a lot. So when the cops separated them and spoke to them separately, Gabby had told the cop that, we were arguing, he's rushing me, he's frustrating, I'm trying to blog, he's telling me that he doesn't think I'm going to be able to do this, that it's not going to make a difference, and I'm putting in a lot of work and a lot of hard time, a lot of hard work and a lot of time into making sure that, my website and my YouTube and everything takes off. She's really passionate about what she's doing, and how she wants to document everything that they do. And I think that's awesome. I would do the same thing. When they talk to Brian, he says that he didn't believe her. I can tell it bothered her. Exactly. When they talk to Brian, he says she hit me with her phone. She scratched my face. I locked her out of the car because I told her I just wanted her to calm down and give us some space. And as soon as she cooled off a little bit, I was going to let her back in to the van. Gabby said that they argued often, and at one point the cop had asked her, what happened to your face, and he points to her face, and she says, he hit me, but I hit him first. So she's admitting guilt. In any domestic violence situation, um, when both parties are hitting each other, you're usually separated and both taken in. Now, supposedly, the cop set it up that Brian could stay at a hotel and that Gabby can sleep in the van and separate themselves for the night. However, there's no actual proof that those arrangements were actually followed through on. She did take the blame. You know, he hit me, he grabbed my neck, but I hit him first. I do not believe that the cop arrested them because he would have to arrest both of them for admittance of, you know, the domestic violence. They both hit each other. You can't let one go and arrest the other when there's proof that, and it's been admitted that hitting each other. And I don't think they wanted to arrest Gabby. I think they believed her, but they were kind of in a situation where they felt like their hands were tied. So that's just what I think. Now, some notes I've taken over this time period and some facts that I've written down is, okay, so August 18th, Brian flew home from Utah to Florida and was supposed to help his dad empty out his storage unit. The dad said that I will keep all of yours and Gabby's stuff from the storage unit in the house. And they said that, you know, it would be better and easier, you'd save money on, you know, not having to rent the storage unit out, and just keep it here, not a problem. So from the 18th to the 23rd, Brian was in Florida. Yes, I'm doing my homework because it's making me insane. On the 23rd of August, he returned back to Utah, where Gabby was. Now that's the timeline from the 18th to 23rd with Brian. Now, on August 21st, Gabby FaceTimed with her father. She was staying in the Fairfield Inn Suites. There is proof and documentation that she stayed at that hotel while he was in Florida helping his dad. Gabby FaceTimed her father and asked him to have food delivered to her because she was hungry, so he Grubhubbed food to the Fairfield Inn Suites in Utah for her. That was the last time that he spoke to his daughter. Serious question, have you guys talked to the neighbor, Kat? We've spoken to quite a few neighbors. I do not know names of everybody, but we have spoken to quite a few of the neighbors and people that have come in and out of the area. So no, I couldn't honestly say if we spoke to Kat or not. It's most likely, you know, possible that we did, but I can't guarantee it. So on the 21st, when Gabby FaceTimed her dad asking for food, that was the last known time that he had spoken to her at all. After that, on August 25th, Gabby had spoken to her mom, and she was, you know, talking to her about a bunch of different things. She told her that there was some tension between her and Brian, said that, you know, things were just a little bit, you know, on edge, but everything was okay, and told her where her next steps were going to go. August 25th was the last time that Gabby had ever spoken to her mom. After that date, her mother said that she had received quite a few text messages from Gabby, but they weren't worded properly. Like, she said, "Can you please help Stan out? He needs help." Well, Stan is Gabby's grandfather, and she would never refer to him as Stan. She would call him Grandpa or whatever she. So that struck her mother as a little off because it's just not a typical normal text that she would receive from Gabby. She also received a few other text messages that just were not worded the way Gabby would speak. And she took, you know, a lot of suspicion towards that, but she saved those text messages and showed them to the feds after the feds got involved. Brian went home on September 1st, and that's when he went home and didn't really say much of anything. Just went home, hung out with his, no geotagging either, you're right, anything. There was no locations, nothing tagged. So on the 1st of September, he went home. He was at the parents' house, at the laundry's house. The police had tried to ask him questions, and the laundries, Roberta Laundry, specifically told them, "Brian is not going to be answering any of your questions. This is the name of our lawyer." September 13th, Brian told everybody that, "Hey, I'm going to go camping at the Carlton Reserve." And that was the last time anybody has ever seen Brian. He's been gone since then. After that, the cops were like, where's Brian? Oh, he's camping. But guess what? How many days did he have head start of missing? 5 days head start missing. So that just makes no sense to me. On September 10th, after not hearing from Gabby for so long, Gabby's mother had texted and called Roberta and Brian's phone because she wanted answers. They did not return any text messages. They did not answer any phone calls. They just completely went silent. So that's at that point, that's when her mother reported that Gabby was a missing person. At this point, Brian is only being charged with credit card fraud because he used Gabby's card after she was already missing, reported dead, whatever the case may be. He's not charged with murder. He's not charged with anything other than credit card fraud. He is a person of interest, which completely boggles me, because there's no reason he should be a person of interest at this point. It should be more serious than that. If the police officer wanted to separate them, Gabby, her parents come get. I mean, that's possible, Metal Joe. I would have held Gabby for her parents to come also. I mean, she was 22, Brian was 23. They grew up in Long Island together. They were high school sweethearts. They got engaged, I want to say, in 2020. I can't promise that's the exact year, but from what I've heard, in 2020 they got engaged. And supposedly were super happy. The parents were ecstatic, and it's just very confusing because at this point, if the parents were so excited about Gabby being their future daughter-in-law, why are they not answering any questions? Now, when Brian on the 13th of September said, hey, I'm going to go hiking in the Carlton Reserve, and that was the last time that he saw anybody, he just disappeared, why would he tell anybody where he was actually going if he was going to take off? Do you really think that he would tell the parents, hey, I'm going here because I want to go hiking, and then leave them with that information for the cops to come and say, hey, what's going on? Oh, he's at the Carlton Reserve. Do you really think that he would want to give them that kind of pressure? I don't think that. I think that he told them that because he didn't want them to know where he was really going. However, I do think that they know where he is. Now, my questions to you are, and these are just things that go through my head. I do not think he was ever at the Carlton Reserve. He had a 5-day head start. He could have went anywhere he wanted, right? Anywhere he wanted. He just used the Carlton Reserve as his place that he was going to go and have this grand old time hiking. The parents own a juicing company in Long Island. Tell me that it is or isn't possible. Could he have jumped into one of those tractor trailers and hitched a ride from here up north? Nobody's going to pull over that truck, especially with a 5-day head start. You're right, Alexis, it was a distraction. It's a company tractor trailer. It's hauling goods for the company. No police officer is really going to pull over that truck for any reason, because at this point they didn't even know that Brian was missing. So he could have hitched a ride that way. Now the truck could have gone straight into Canada. I've heard rumors that they thought he could be in Toronto. I also heard rumors that the feds followed the Laundrie parents to the Canadian border. I do not know how much truth is in that or not. That's just speculation, is what I've heard. But can I count it out? No, because anything's possible at this time. But there's a lot of other aspects. People are saying Mexico. Why does it have to be Mexico? If he goes down to the Florida Keys, he's got a 45 minutes between the Keys to Cuba. Why couldn't he be in Cuba? Why couldn't he be up north in somebody's house, in a family member's house, hiding out there? What makes everybody think that he's surviving in the wilderness, that he's out there hiking and doing all the stuff that he's supposed to be doing? He's a survivalist, he's a minimalist, he can survive off of the land, he doesn't agree with plastic bottles and plastic wrapping, so he'll eat watermelons and cantaloupes and just live off the grid? Why is that something that everybody is considering to be what he is doing? Makes no sense to me when I could find a place up north, especially if I have help from rides and whatnot and a 5-day head start. Why would I be in the woods, busting my balls trying to survive when I can be up north? The fierce domestic cartels. You're right. They would grab him for the right price, and there's lots of money everywhere to go. My husband and I were talking about this because he was considering the fact that Brian could actually be in the reserve. There's 25,000 acres of land to search. There's no way you're going to comb through every single bit of that. And how hard would it be to drop off a care package here, drop off a care package there, for Brian to grab and run into the woods when no one's looking? Well, you know what? Chris and Roberta, hey Bruce, are under surveillance 24/7. They can't make a single move in or out of their house that's not being recorded anytime during the day or night. I mean, people are knocking on their door at 11, I think it was 11 o'clock or 11:30 last night, with their cell phones recording, yelling, Roberta and Chris, come out, dirty laundries. You know the truth. You like to strangle people. Come out, wherever you are. Well, the news crews across the street are recording that. So tell me how Chris Laundrie or Roberta could leave their house in the middle of the night to go and deliver a care package to Brian. His comfort zone. He's a survivalist. He's a camper hiker. Live off the land. You're right, Cricket. That could very possibly be it. However, why would you choose that over the comfort and safety of somewhere else? And why would you tell anybody that that's where you're going if you know damn well that the feds and the police are going to be all over that area? And he could be in upstate New York at this point. It doesn't even have to be in Long Island. New York State is woods. New York State is mountain area. He could fit in there. He could fit in a mountain area if he grew his hair out and grew a beard and bulked up a bit. He could work on a farm. He could do lots of different things. In Canada, nobody's really gonna know who the heck he is, because maybe in Canada nobody or a lot of people don't watch the news. He told his parents he was going hiking at the Carlton Reserve when he left their house on September 13th. And that is what they told the law enforcement. Is that 100% honest and correct? No, but that's what has been reported to us from the law enforcement. So I can only go with what I've been told from the law enforcement on that point. So I just don't think that he would be at the reserve. I don't think he would stay 20 minutes from home. I think that he would go someplace further away. He was never in that reserve, in my opinion. No, I agree. He was never there. He was never in that reserve or in the surrounding areas. He definitely, he went pretty far, I think. And it's just a distraction. If Chris Laundrie thought that Brian was in the reserve, he would never have gone out and helped the feds go and search the land out there. Now, also, I have said, what if it was a test? They found the body of another deceased male in the reserve area. And what if they brought Chris out there and said, we're going to search this and that, blah, 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 and we're going to look, and you're going to help us, and maybe he'll come out and cooperate if you're there. And then boom, there's a dead body. If I really thought my son was there, oh my God, I'd be freaking the hell out. I'd be hysterical crying. Or if I knew it wasn't my kid to begin with, I would, my reaction would be a lot less dramatic. It would be, or maybe it would be over dramatic. Maybe they were just like testing his reaction to that. Gagging his reaction. Exactly. They would just wanted to test him, I think. I think that finding out that Gabby was strangled was, I think that's a sad thing for any parent. If that was my kid, I would be heartbroken regardless of the cause of death. But I think that to find out your daughter or your son struggled and fought back and tried as hard as they could to get away from this person who's killing them with his hands, I think that is that's horrible. It's a horrible way to die. Somebody said that maybe he was shaking her and didn't mean to actually kill her. It was an accident. Well, okay, you can shake somebody all you want to, but at some point you're gonna snap out of it and let go. You're like, oh shit, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You know what I mean? Um, I wasn't trying to kill you, or I shook you. Sorry, it's just not, my bad. Oops, whatever. So it was intentional in order to actually strangle someone to death with your own hands. It's not just an accident. You have to follow through and you have to see the entire thing. Um, I think that they know exactly where he is. And I just don't think that they're going to give him up at any time. Hey, Cotton Candy. So that's just my thoughts on what's going on with what I've heard so far. Um, Brian might lie to his parents. Yeah, it's very possible that for his parents to not stick up for Brian. Now what if I've heard people say, well, if they arrest the parents, Brian will turn himself in. Why? He cares too much about himself to turn himself in. And I don't think that he cares enough about anybody else at this point to say, shit, my parents are in jail, my sister's in jail, this and that. I have to go and fess up. I'm going to turn myself in. I'm going to make it right. I don't think that's even going through his head. You're right, Dev. Innocent people do not run. He should have spoken up and said, thanks, Cotton Candy. I appreciate it. He should have spoken up and said something from the beginning. It never should have been Brian isn't going to speak. You can talk to his attorney. That never should have been something that the parents should have said. They never should have even allowed that situation to happen. Okay, yeah, we're here. We're going to answer the phones. We're going to tell you what you need to know. We're going to talk to you. Brian will talk, or whoever will talk, and we're going to give you the information that we have. Yeah, even if he is innocent, it still looks suspicious. You're the last person to see her. You left her there. There's a lot of questions that would still point to making him look guilty. I'm not saying that I think he's innocent. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if he was innocent, there's a lot of unanswered questions that make no sense. I do think that he is 100% guilty, though. Brian drove the car to reserve. Brian. Right. I was watching some videos by other people that do van life camping, and they had passed that van that Gabby and Brian were driving in. They passed it like 2 or 3 times on the road, and they saw the van parked on the side of the road. I think it was like a mile or something or like that away from where they found Gabby's body. And they said they wanted to stop and say hi because it had Florida plates on it, but when they looked in the car, there was nobody in it, so they thought they were out hiking. They didn't see anybody, and the van was there for 2 days before, I guess it was reported, and the officials in that area towed it out of the area. But then they say that it was brought back home, and it was towed from the laundry residence. So there's 2 different opposing people, their opinions. One says it was towed from the camp area, and another says it was towed from Brian Laundrie's house. I do not know the truth in that matter, just what I'm being told and what I'm hearing. So I don't know. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts on the situation? He's in Vaughn's house. I've known that. Badger life. That could very well be the truth. He could be there. Hey, Josh. You think Canada? Canada is one of the first places that I suspected he would be, and that is one of the first places that I heard rumors about him going. I specifically heard them mention that they think he's in Toronto, Canada. I think they need dogs in the house also. I agree. I agree that I don't think that they searched properly, the way that they were supposed to. Videos show the van being towed from his parents' house. Okay, thank you for that. So then that counts out the other campers that say that they saw the van being towed from the campsite. I think they need dog. Why haven't dogs been brought into the house to search the area? Why haven't dogs been around Cassie's house? You don't need a passport to go to Canada. Kids, you can get in with a birth certificate. You do need passports for an adult. Whether or not that's changed over the past few years, I'm not sure. That's just what I remember from when I lived up north and I decided that I wanted to go onto the other side of the bridge where Niagara Falls is. Canada does not extradite. Okay, so one thing I did say is that I thought because Canada and America, we share a bridge, that we're so close, I really thought that Canada would extradite if there was a situation that arose. I didn't know that they were not an extradition country. He would go, he wouldn't be tried here in Florida. He would be tried in Wyoming, is from what I've been told. Now, the coroner said that it was strangulation was the cause of death. One of the things that I had said was maybe Gabby was pregnant, but he had ruled out in an official statement, the coroner said that Gabby was not pregnant. So the borders are closed because of COVID. That could very well be the truth. I'm not sure. I know up north everything's operating a lot more different than it is down here, so that could very possibly still be the case for up there. But I can't understand why somebody would be arguing to the point where there's an issue with death. Now, when he came home to help his dad with the storage locker and Gabby was staying at the Fairfield Inn Suite, is it possible that maybe she was cheating on him? What could have been the situation or an argument that made them fight so terribly that it got heated to a point where there was any kind of domestic violence involved at all? Canada will not extradite, or they will extradite, but not if the death penalty case. I don't know that it will be a death penalty case because he's not even wanted for murder at this point. He just wanted for questioning. He's just the person of interest. So I think that they would boot his little ass over here and help make things better. Let's see. Dad was out mowing the lawn today. Okay, that was what I was going to say this morning. They have video footage of him going to get gas in gas cans, and they had mentioned, could he be mowing the grass? What could he be doing that he needs gas? So it's interesting to know that he's cutting the grass today. In fact, I wish I was out there recording him cut the grass because I'd have a couple questions for him, which of course he wouldn't answer, but I would still shout them out anyway. But it's good that he's cutting the grass, I guess. It is what it is. Bert is in deeper than Chris. So, from what I heard, Roberta's and Brian are the only two people being represented by this lawyer. I was told that Chris is not being represented by the lawyer. Where's Dog? Okay, so there's a lot of different things about Dog. So he left here to go to Colorado because he sustained an injury on his ankle. But listening to lots of channels, but you're keeping it authentic. Thank you, Liz. Then I hear that Dog cannot legally hold Brian and bring him in because if he holds him against his will, it's considered kidnapping because Dog is not licensed to bounty hunt here in Florida. So I don't know how much truth there is to that part. But I've read a lot about that, saying that he will face legal repercussions if he holds Brian against his will, because of his not having his bounty hunter license here. So that's kind of an interesting point too. I understand him wanting to get involved and help bring justice and find Brian. On the other hand, why the hell are you putting yourself at risk if you are not licensed to bounty hunt here? But as of right now, he's supposed to be. He's back according to his daughter's Twitter. Okay, so as of yesterday or the day before, he was in Colorado because he sustained an ankle injury. So now they're saying he's back in Florida. Dog just said yesterday he's remaining in Florida. I don't care. I would kidnap him. You know what? I would too. We were walking through the reserve yesterday, not the Carlton because they kicked us out, but Lazy Turtle or something to that effect, something Turtle Reserve, and as we're driving out there, I said, what if we see him? We need to make a plan, make friends with them, get him to trust us, walk with them and whop him on the head, knock him out. We needed a plan just in case we bumped into him. Not saying that we thought we would, but there's always that what if factor, and so that was pretty much what we were going to do, was just, talk to him, gain his trust, act like we didn't know who he was, and then, take him in hostage style, I guess, call the cops and have him come get him. So I don't know if that would be considered kidnapping on our part, but they should be thanking us regardless, because we would have helped them solve this case. He's remaining in Florida. He'll use another guy's license. Can he do that, Dev? Can he really use another guy's bounty hunting license? Maybe he went and became affiliated with a bondsman in the area and is working temporarily under this bondsman's agency to help with the case. That could possibly be a reason as to why he could be working here, and it could be legal, but I'm not sure, again, if, I don't know anything about that aspect of it. I know I've watched the show, everybody's watched Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he does what he does, but I don't know the legality of it here in Florida as far as getting involved with another license or another bondsman or whatnot. So I don't know how he could legally do anything. Put him in the trunk and deliver him for yeah, I would definitely do. I don't know, I wouldn't put him in the trunk because I don't want to take a chance of him kicking out my taillights, but I definitely think that I would lock his little ass in the back seat of my car, put the child locks on, and every time he opened his mouth I'd punch him in the face. Correct, under local bonds license. Okay, so he could technically work under a local bondsman then. That's good to know. I mean, I think that he's a great asset. He has lots of experience bounty hunting in wooded areas and just in general bounty hunting thousands of people. So, I mean, I think that if Dog thinks he can do it and he's here to help, I mean, one extra person or a team of extra people, the more the merrier at this point, get everyone involved. I think that the law enforcement and the feds know a lot more than they're letting on, which of course they would never tell us what they know, but I think that they're doing a lot of things to cause distraction for us, because they want us to look left when all the activity and the truth is really to the right. They're just distracting us. If Brian is dead, he can't say he kidnapped. That is true. That's another thing. There's a lot of people saying that they think he could be dead, that he couldn't survive in the wilderness this long, especially up north. It's getting cold, the Appalachian Mountains. If anybody from the north is in here, as well as I do, it gets cold, and it gets cold fast this time of year. And it'll get cold and stay cold for like 8 months. It's really cold up north. And I lived in the mountains in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. I lived there for a long time, and October through May there would be snow. And so just think, if he was up there, that's a lot of snow for a long amount of time, and the temperatures are just frigid. I mean, negative 14 degrees and whatnot. I don't think he could survive that long without getting hypothermia and dying from natural causes. I think that him being out in the wilderness this long, in this heat, if he's still in Florida, which I don't think he is, I think that's wearing on him. He can't go into a store and say, hey, I need to buy a drink or whatever, because everyone's looking for him. He can't go into a McDonald's. He can't go and, anywhere, because all eyes are on him. So I think his resources are dwindling down or zero at this point, and he just doesn't have what he needs to physically survive in the wild. I don't think that he's an avid hunter. It's, one thing to be able to camp and make a fire and live with supplies, but once you run out of supplies, I mean, you're SOL. There's really not much you can do at that point to continue to keep yourself hydrated and fed. All you could do is just survive day to day until eventually you're just no longer surviving and you start to die. Let's see, what's up with the parents there? I do not know. I have no idea why the parents are so untouchable. All I know is that they refuse to talk to anybody because they have a lawyer. And if you want to talk to me, talk to my lawyer. And that's exactly what they do. It's lawyered up, and they refuse to do anything else. Do you think someone told Brian got out of Florida? Yeah, I really think Brian's out of Florida. North Coast Police joined the book. They did. They said that they had somebody watching or surveilling Brian, but there wasn't enough evidence against him to bring him in. And they said that he slipped under the radar, that they lost him. I think Brian, we found soon. Really think positive. I think, I've heard a number of different things from a number of different sources. One person said they thought he'd be found within the next 96 hours. Someone else said, I think it was on Dog the Bounty Hunter's page, said that keep your eyes open. He's going to be making movement in 24 hours. That's all speculation. It's all thoughts. That's just like me saying, you know what? I think within the next 5 days, he's going to be hitchhiking or moving around, and someone's going to see him and someone's going to catch him. I have no idea. My ideas are no better than yours. I know nothing more than you do. In fact, I learn a lot from you guys just by talking to you and seeing what you say and answering your comments and considering, taking your opinions into consideration. You're teaching me. So I don't know. I mean, the lawyer is a joke. All right, so the lawyer, Bertolini, I think that's it. Stephen Bertolini, is supposed to be their lawyer for a long time, and he's a real estate lawyer, right? A real estate lawyer, but I guess he's a jack of all trades. So, and there are lawyers that usually just, they have their specialty and that's what they focus on. There are other lawyers that will cover everything and anything. But I don't see a real estate lawyer really being that great of an asset on your side as far as being a defense attorney. But an idea that crossed my mind is, could he be mob related? Maybe he's mob related. Maybe the lawyer helped smuggle Brian's butt out of here. I mean, that could be a possibility. I don't know. I have no idea. Just like a couple weeks ago, when there was the neighbor came out and took a swing at JLR, they said that the reason they did that is because he stepped his foot into his yard and it outraged him, and he came out throwing a fit and he swung at him. Well, I think that person was friends with the Laundries and was doing that in a defense, in defense of the Laundries, trying to get rid of the protesters. Maybe Chris Laundrie said, hey, can you do something? Can you make a scene? Can you help me out here? Who knows? The longer he stays hidden, the more likely the parents have him set up a vacation apartment. That's true. They own over 10 acres of property. I do not know as far as what's on that property, but I know that they own 10 acres of property. Could he be up in a warehouse for one of the businesses? They own 3 different companies up north. Could he be in one of those warehouses? I mean, that could be possible too. Anyone watch Doug Northport's last video? Honestly, I looked him up today, and I did not watch any of his videos yet, but I do plan to watch his videos because it looks like he does have a lot of really great content that's very informative. So I'm going to be watching Doug from Northport's videos today just to help educate myself again. You're the only channel I've been following. Thanks, Tara. I appreciate that. To be honest with you, when this started, okay, so I've had my YouTube for quite a while, and hey, white boy, I'm happy you're back. Since like 2013 or 14, and it was focused on animal videos because I do rescue and rehab, and I just was recording and posting videos of all the animals I rescued, you know, and things like that to bring awareness on animals to people. And I was having a fire in my backyard one night with my husband, and I said, you know, I want to do my animal coverage still, but I want to actually make a difference. I want to talk to people. I want to touch them with stories. I want to educate people. I want to help people. And I said, I don't know what to do or where to start or, you know, when it's going to happen, but I really feel like I need to, you know, make a difference, not just for animals, but for people in general. And I had been following this case for a while, and my husband said, you know, Northport's not far away. Let's take a ride out there and see what's going on, because we both, you know, have been invested in this case. So we go out there, and the first day I didn't record anything. I just observed and talked to people. The next day I started recording, and my point of that was, it wasn't because I wanted to be YouTube famous. It wasn't because I wanted, you know, all this attention or whatever. I was doing it because the first day we were out there, I had literally watched the media twist stories and interviews around. I watched them lie and give misleading facts, and I said, it's just not right. We have to show what's really going on. And that was the point of me starting this, was that I just wanted to show the truth of what's happening versus what the media was wanting everybody to know and hear. And I did gain a lot of subscribers, and I really appreciate that. I love the fact that I'm able to conversate with you guys and talk to you and hear your thoughts and opinions, and that I'm helping you guys keep in you know, connection with the case and see things for what they really are. I love it, and I appreciate it more than you know. But that was never my intention. It was just that I wanted to put the truth out there and have everybody, you know, up to date on what really happened. So everybody knows we protested in front of, damage your husband, done amazing work. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Josh. The protest went from the laundries to Cassie's house, and we were out there for 2 days, and then the third day, which I was not there for, I was so pissed, but the third day Cassie did come out and give JLR and Andra an interview. Now, I saw what the media put out for that interview, and I saw what they wanted everybody to see, how they left parts out and whatnot. If you want to see that original interview that's not edited, not cut by the media, go by VA 2 Up 2 Down. He has a page. He's a friend of my husband's. He has the uncut video of the interview on his page, and you can actually see the difference between the real interview and what the media put out there. So that's just, you know, one little piece of the truth versus media that I can prove to you, that I can actually give you evidence of how it was changed and doctored up and whatnot. Anyway, the FBI won't take time. Thousands of people missing a year. They do not look. You're right, Debbie. Thank you for everything you do, Falling Star. You are very welcome. I appreciate you and White Boy. Thank you, Miss Lady Loyalty. I appreciate it. Myself don't watch main media. Yeah, Bruce, we don't even have cable here. My husband watches a lot of YouTube and, political stuff and whatnot, and we keep up to date with that. He plays it, I listen, and we go from there. But hey, Dr. Fool, we really don't watch media coverage of anything for the most part. It's all YouTube, and so when I started getting involved with this case, I started watching as much as I could on it, on Gabby Petito on YouTube, and that's what drew me in, and that's what drew my husband in, because as I'm watching it, I'm talking to him, and he's listening to it, and it makes no sense. I mean, there's nothing about it that makes any sense. So, um, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go and get back to your day because I have taken up 46 minutes of your time, and I do appreciate you coming on over and sticking with me. But when I have more information and I have any updates, or we go back out there, we'll be back live, and we'll catch up with you then. So everybody have a great day or night, depending on what part of the country you're from. And we will see you again soon. Much love to everyone.
Tell maybe this weekend or something.
Oh, maybe this weekend we'll.
No promises, but we'll have to say, because either before the weekend or the weekend, we'll have another one.
By this weekend, we should be out there again. No promises on a date or anything. But we should be out there again by this weekend. My husband just informed me. So you'll be having updates again soon. All right, y'all. I'll be talking to you later. Stay humble and always be kind.